Welcome to the $600,000 studio. I'm not saying that you need one of these, but I'm going to show you through some of the things that I've implemented over the last 18 months to make content look and sound that little bit crispier. And I hate that the microphone's on my hat. I usually loathe that, but this microphone here isn't going to cut it because we're going to move around. This is what, the Sennheiser MKH 416? Yeah. We like this one at the moment. Before this, we were using a Shure SM7B, which we put through a Rodecaster. Now this device here is called a cloud lifter. It in essence makes that sound better. If you get the new one of these, the Rodecaster 2, that has that built in. And if you get the new one of these, the Shure SM7DB, it has one of those built in. And the reason we like this shotgun because it records kind of down the barrel, is that this can plug straight into the camera that we're using, which is a Sony FX3. I'll actually show you some of the other cameras that we use in a second. Let's go for a walk. So here we have the main light that we use. What are these things called?
Oh, honeycomb group.
This is the honeycomb group. You can keep that in the edit as well. That just kind of softens the direction of the light, right?
Yeah, it kind of makes it more directional.
If we take that off, that light is always way too harsh.
So it spills as well, whereas when it...
So it spills, apparently. This is the term. Maybe you should be doing this video. Then this light over here is what we call a hair light. So this...
Or a rim light.
A what?
Hair light or a rim light.
Hair light or a rim light. Look at this. And that creates that nice little shiny part on the side of my face that accentuates my fantastic jawline. This is pretty much where we record the majority of our content. We are actually going to build another studio in here, but this makes do for the time being. Considering it's only ever boys in here, it's pretty messy. I'll leave props that we talk about in videos, books, a selection of caps because I'm going bald. What's that thing called? A what?
Cheap reflector.
Is it called a cheap reflector?
It just is a cheap.
Oh, it's just a cheap version. Just in case you get lonely during the edit. This is a teleprompter we used for some of the modules in the course. You put an iPad down on that and it reflects there, so then you can stick your camera in behind. And if you ever see anyone holding one of these in content, it's because they're using a teleprompter. In my business mentorship, I promote using a Panasonic GH5 II. This camera is so durable, and the variable lens on this, I probably recorded near 1,000 videos on this. I did my entire big main YouTube channel on my own using this. I love these. Having a variable lens just helps me so much from a cinematic standpoint. You go really tight when maybe you're creating B-roll about something, and having the option of a wide lens, that's now redundant.
You've got two of them, don't you?
I do have two of them, but one of them I dropped. Don't drop them. They're durable, but don't drop them. We don't really use that at the moment. At the moment we're using an FX3. And if you ever wanted to know if you're paying your videographer too much, his rig would look like this. So we've got a Sony FX3 here, 35mm lens. We have something on the end called an ND filter.
We have a Pro Mist filter, which is 1/8 strength.
A Pro Mist filter.
What that basically does is it makes the, you can't see it on this camera, but if you film that one at the light, it'll basically mean that there's a halation. It kind of blurs the light and it softens the skin tones. Just makes it, give it more of a cinematic feel.
Yeah, it does feel very cinematic recording that. And there's an ND filter on as well?
Yeah, we've got two filters. The mist is behind the ND and the ND's at the front.
Now, again, we're getting very complex, and I know some people are going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? The ND filter stops letting in as much light. It's like sunglasses for your camera. Basically, that means that you can open the lens a bit wider, which lets in more light, but the ND filter then stops it from being overexposed, which gives you like a nice blurred background. So pretty much, you put sunglasses on your camera, you get a nice blurred background. The rig on here, you've got a battery pack, a monitor so you can see what you're doing. And again, this is real advanced stuff that none of you need to care about or worry about. But maybe in 3 to 5 years, you'll have a Declan and he'll have a camera rig like this on top. Then we've got the FX handle.
XLR handle.
You've got the XLR handle on top.
How it plugs in.
Which means in essence, when we are using a mic, whether it be a Shure SM7B, plug that straight into the camera. Because the way we were doing it before was that we would record the footage on here, we'd press record on the Rodecaster, and then you synchronize the audio up in line with the footage so that you get your audio. Most podcasts will record separately. There'll be an audio track, there'll be a video track. That's why some people clap at the beginning of a production, or in the old days with the films, they're like, that's so you can line up the audio with the video to make sure that it's crisp and lovely, which you'll need to do with that, but then Premiere and DaVinci do it for you. Should we swap back? Yeah. By the way, guys, quickly, if you're a personal trainer, there's a link in the description for my PT Starter Pack, which is a program designed just for personal trainers. And if you're not a personal trainer, there's going to be another link below it where I want to give you 30 business bits of advice over the next 30 days, completely free. It's in your inbox. If you don't love them, you can unsubscribe at any point. Okay, back to the rest of the video. Here's what I have, and I call the productivity corner. Truth be told, when we launched Newtonic, for some reason, our US orange cans, we just didn't get the flavor right. I think they sent it to me. They said, we can't sell this cracked can. I was like, it'd be fine. Chris Williamson was like, we cannot sell this. So we had to destroy loads of them. I said, just send them somewhere. Let's just give them away for free. But we're like, nope. So I think we maybe lost nearly $100,000 worth of stock, which was shite. But I said, send me a pallet, which they did. And I drink them. I think they're fine. For me, I don't care about the taste as much as I care about the benefits. Those are not released yet, so don't go too close to them. They should be out later this week. Very, very exciting times. This is the love of my life at the moment. I'll be honest with you, the first week I bought this, I thought I'd made a massive mistake. These cars, you can lift the front axle, but it still scrapes on the odd thing. The bum has a rear diffuser on it. These little diffuser wings at the back, they can scrape. Although, every time something like that happens, I just go on a forum online, and GT3 owners are like, get used to it. Scrape in the front, get used to it. This is quite cool, how the door handles come out. The Audi RS6 is an amazing car, but the three things I didn't like about the Audi, it's too quiet, this is very loud. I've always fancied an Alcantara steering wheel, which is like the suede steering wheel, and I really love that this one's a manual. Which is sometimes in traffic, you think, I wish I had the PDK, but being connected to the gears is something I missed. Growing up in the UK, we learned how to drive manual. Did you learn to drive manual here or else? Again, the bucket seats that are in here, the first week I was like, oh, have I bought a car that's uncomfortable? But it took me 2-3 weeks before I finally was like, I love it. I think for the first few weeks, you're petrified. Or you think about the amount of money you've spent on it, and you think, what am I doing? What's the point? I could have made financially smarter decisions that could have helped my son. But then you drop it into second and go to 9,000 RPM. And you think, fuck him. I don't want to spoil him. Because that's what happens, right? If you do well in life and you leave loads to your kids, they turn out to be little shitbags. So every bit of money that I don't spend financially smart, looking after my son and my family is good. Because if we hit financial troubles and we lose everything, that would be great for his mindset. If anything, the more reckless I can be with my money, the more I'm setting up my son for success. You buying this? You ready to get gassed out? The exhaust fumes can't be too bad for you, can they? Matt Armstrong at the moment is rebuilding one of these, the GT3 RS, which is just like this, but better, and $350,000 more. But let me tell you why I didn't get the RS. If I was to get the GT3 RS, instead of having these two vents here, where there's a radiator, or two radiators, or one radiator, a radiator at the front, even though the engine's at the back, I get all this trunk space, which is great for jiu-jitsu. Got all my kit, got all my gear, put it in here, bit of storage. If I was to get the GT3 RS, I wouldn't have anywhere to put my jiu-jitsu kit. I also couldn't afford it. But more importantly, it was the storage, not the extra $350,000. It was the storage. Repeat after me, Declan. It was storage. All right, before we die of carbon monoxide poisoning, that's enough. Do you know what that smells like? Happiness. Happiness. So if you don't shut the door properly, the window doesn't shut. Every time it torrential rains, part of my brain, you know the part in most people's brains that go, I left the door open or the oven's on? I think to myself, I bet I left my window open. So every time it rains, I'm just there worried. That is just the sex. I'm sorry. But take the repayments. Another thing that's worth noting is finance, 100%. Other car, finance, 100%. Every single person with nice cars, even people that are super wealthy, they finance it. It just doesn't make sense to put all your money in one place. Because that same several $100,000, we could buy more stock of Newtonic, or we could invest in another business, or we could buy shares in a startup. No matter how wealthy you get, just finance it. And get a warranty. That's what I'd say. Finance and warranty. So even if, say, you're in your first few years of running a business, I'll tell you this, getting an M3 or an RS6, or even getting like a 6-year-old Golf R, you will feel just as happy. Because I feel like with this channel, I want to be your older brother. I was giving you this advice the other day. Go to a dealership, get pre-owned, get a warranty. 3 years, fine. Anything goes wrong, not my problem. So this is a gym, but no one trains here. Because technically it's not a gym, this is a studio. I'll explain why this is kind of important. My main business for years has been a personal training business. And one of the things that we don't really talk about is where we do talk about it, the first 3 seconds of content is so important. So if I walk into set and go, when it comes to fat loss, there are 3 things that are more important than actually, do you know what? We've been through this. I hate starting videos with that for a start. When people go, here are 3 things about fat loss, and then number 1 is hit a decent step count. Scrap what you're doing and just do a video about step count. Rather than trying to get 3 subjects and doing a poor job of each of them, just pick each subject to make an individual video. Let's start again. Imagine if there was a type of exercise that you could do every single day, you never get too sore from it, and implementing it not only makes you feel better, not only de-stresses you and gives you great ideas, not only is this a way to spend more time with your friends and family, but could also play a really positive role in your fat loss journey. That thing is walking. According to research, whatever. Being in this scene, someone that's never seen me before, especially in this TikTokification of social media, the fact that we are served content based on our interests, not based on who we follow, straight away, you kind of know what the video is about. Much of this is just there to give people the visual aid to understand that I'm probably a fitness pleb talking about fitness stuff. If I'm here at home in the kitchen going, when it comes to fat loss, unless I'm going to actually talk about food or something relative to the context, it just doesn't make sense. When it comes to getting stronger in the gym, if this isn't an analogy or a metaphor that I'm going to use to make a point, then what's the point of including it? It's why I think gym-based content is really important, even for those of you that don't have the luxury of a facility. Even if you're in a pure gym, David Lloyd, Virgin, whatever, use this as a visual aid. Now, the problem that a lot of you face is you're in a squat rack, there's a lot of background noise, so you end up using a voice isolation that makes it sound like crap. Some of you don't have a videographer, don't have a Declan. I got a lot done in business before I had a videographer. You could just set up the camera, so Declan, if you put that camera down on that bench, so instead of being someone in the gym that's kind of stood there with your iPhone to the side and you're a little bit nervous and you're like, when it comes to performing the hip hinge movement, it's really important. Instead of that, you can just film yourself in the gym doing the movement. Then afterwards, you can just take your microphone and say the cue you're going to say. And now what Declan's going to do in the edit is show you the footage that was just there, and I'm going to record the voiceover. When it comes to performing the hip hinge movement, first of all, take the knees off lock. Now from here, you're going to pretend there's an invisible button on the back of the room. You're going to now break at the hips, send your bum backwards to touch that invisible button as your chest comes closer to the floor. Which means for a lot of you, when it comes to doing exercise tutorials or stuff in the gym, you can just point a camera to that area, perform the movement, then when you get home, go into CapCut or whatever app it is, and just do a voiceover. And remember, this isn't your workout of the day, this is how you can help people. If your lower back hurts doing an RDL, then it's maybe because if you're someone that doesn't feel comfortable in the squat rack, maybe try this. When it comes to lining up the squat rack to be the perfect height for a squat, it should go to this area of your body. These whiteboards, worth their weight in gold. This is just a static piece of plastic that sticks onto surfaces. There's no glue, there's nothing. For any of you out there, you can write on it, put very poignant, important words. And this visual representation can sometimes be so excellent for your business. So whether you're trying to make a point, or maybe you're drawing something that could help people understand the context of the point you're trying to make, the whiteboard is excellent. These are very cheap, you can get them online. And I think that just having that static, no gap between the wall and the back. I've been using these since like 2017. Amazing. And again, with the natural light, it's important to me that we have that in a place where I'm getting like a nice amount of lighting on me. If I was to record the majority of my content over there, it just wouldn't look good as far as lighting. That's why you'll never really see anything filmed down this end. There's too much of a downlight to it, just doesn't really work too well. Got the punch bag. This is just literally to have a bit of fun with. The other day, the video. We do one video and include that, business write-off. Use the dumbbells in video, business write-off. Why do you think the car was in today's video? Hey! Been Thailand, didn't I? Hey! Hey! Rowing machine, obviously not mine. This is Bob. Sometimes you want to fucking... You ever just go down the road and think, I'd love to punch someone in the face? You ever think like, wish I had a time machine so you could literally just crack someone in the chin, then go back in time and pretend you never did it? Do you ever get like that? Yeah, all the time. Sometimes, Bob, whack! And we have a bathroom around the side. Now, one of the reasons I'm making this video is, I think everyone should aspire to have their own working space, whatever it is that you do, whether you're selling real estate, social services, personal training, whatever. For me, even though for years I filmed at home, sometimes you need to get into the mindset to go somewhere to do work. There's no PlayStations here, there's no TVs here. When I'm here, I'm working. Then when I go home, although I have an office at home, I don't like working in the front room, it's my place to relax. For years, I would always go to a cafe to work. I never do emails at home. For me, there's such an important part of having the mindset that when you go to a certain place, it's for a certain outcome. Even when I worked in a budget gym, I would go to Waitrose, sit in the cafe, get all my work done. I wouldn't leave the cafe till my work was done. In time, I think you should all aspire to have a business location for filming, because having the backdrop and the depth there, I feel like it almost raises the stakes a bit, where they go, even though James is talking about pricing or landing pages or whatever, he's not just filming it in a spare room in his house. He's gone to the effort to make a nice facility. We're going to build another studio up there, which said we're going to get aircon, so I don't have to get sweat patches like this, because it is fucking Australian summer, mate. We're going to put a podcast studio in there, and we're going to run the podcast at a loss, just to get attention, just to get ears on, traffic to certain websites. Very excited for that. What have I missed out, Declan? What did you think when you first came here? I suppose the crazy thing, right, is people come past and they think it's a commercial gym, and I have to explain to them the worst use of time for me at this stage of my career would be to train people here. Even if someone came in and went, hey mate, I'll give you $500 for a PT session, just literally isn't worth it. Not because I'm some amazing trainer or whatever, just all of you within your businesses, at the moment, selling slots of time for hours is absolutely what you should do. But then as you start to create systems within building a social media platform, sending people to certain resources, like this video, I'm just going to say to people, if you're a personal trainer, there's a PT starter pack in the description. And if you're a general business owner that isn't a PT, there's another link where I want to give you 30 days of business advice. So yeah, this is a behind the scenes to pretty much how we run and operate the Content HQ. You ever walk past people's houses and just go, I'd love to be inside there? Not like as a creep, not like I want to go in and, kick the old woman down and sleep in her bed and, eat the food in her fridge. You just kind of want to know what it's like inside. That's what this is. When your neighbor is selling their house and there's an open house and you go in and walk around. You ever do that? Yeah, no, me neither. That's what this video is. Anyway, hope you enjoy. And as per usual, YouTube's going to recommend this video here. And it thinks that if you're a smart bugger and you enjoy content, if you enjoyed this one at all, you'll love this one. So give it a go.